Hey there, everyone. This is Tim from the NFC North Monsters. Just going to talk quickly about today's preseason game against the Cleveland Steamers, aka the Cleveland Browns. Um, First quarter looked a little rough. I mean, it looked like Cleveland did have most of their starters out there versus the Chicago Bears, who had just a few starters on defense. But the majority of our team was made up of nothing but second string, third string, and so on. But against Deshaun Watson, we had some less than stellar play against the run. We did give up some big 3 yard and distance plays again. That's things that I kind of was hoping that we would start to move away from is these guaranteed first downs by other teams as soon as it hits third down. But it did seem after the first quarter the defense did get settled in. Probably a lot of first game jitters out there. I mean, during training camp, you're really not playing against another team, so you really don't know how you stack up and how do these schemes work against these plays and so on and so forth. But ultimately, we did come on with the victory today, 34-10. Shadura Sanders looked like garbage. Dylan Gabriel also looked horrible for the Cleveland Browns. Uh, some of the players I was hoping that would step up and show something, like Dylan Thiedemann, definitely showed that he had a lot to do, as well as Muhammad. They have some work to do. The defensive line, I was overly kind of impressed with that they were getting pressure with just the front four. They weren't doing a whole lot of huge blitz schemes. DeMarco Jackson got in there doing some plays. But yeah, Karan looked great on our defensive line as well. He really got in there. Kareem, uh, number 72, did not look good at left tackle at times. He did show that he does have the ability to be an NFL player, but I think that not being in the system and playing for the last couple of years is really showing that he has more work that needs to be done in order to become solidified on the 53-man roster. He'll probably make the roster just due to the fact that we don't have a lot of depth at that position. But if Ozzy Trapil does have a miraculous heel and he's back by the end of preseason or even earlier than expected in the season, I would imagine that number 72 will be downgraded or Braxton Jones will be downgraded to either the practice squad or outright released. Um, Receiver play looked good. There were some drops in there. Tyson Bagent had an interception by one of the tight ends not coming back for the ball. I feel like if he would have been more engaged with his defender on that and came back, that pass probably would have been completed or at least batted down so it wasn't an INT. Uh, Case Keenum's Case Keenum. I mean, the guy's like 85 years old. I'm kidding. He's a good, great coach as far as a QB. He has a lot of experience. Definitely showed out there. Showed a lot of skills, knowing where to put the ball, keep drives going, and he ultimately was the one that helped put up most of the scores today. Tyson Bagent had one TD, one interception. Keenum had 2 touchdowns, and then I think we had one rushing touchdown by Britton Brown in there. Um, but yeah, I mean it was a solid, just good first game. It definitely showed that Ben wanted to do exactly what he said, which is pound the ball, rack up the points, put the game out of reach, and then you're able to just keep dictating the rest of the game the way that you want to do it. You're not playing catch up. Even though we started out 10-3 or 10-0, and then it was 10-0, and then we came back and scored 34 points, and we never let Cleveland score again. Shadura Sanders is once again touchdownless against the Chicago Bears. No big shocker there. But yeah, just it was great to see. I'm going to pull up some stats here real quick. Sorry, I should have had this ready beforehand. So I will apologize for that one. That's on me. pulling up some quick stats. Game stats. So, time of possession, the Chicago Bears had that. We were at 32.87 minutes compared to Cleveland's 27.3. First downs, Cleveland had 9. Chicago had 21. That is impressive. I really didn't realize that the Bears had so many more first downs just because of the overall play of the game. And I was just really engaged in the game. Total yards, the Browns had 192, with 142 of those coming on passing and just 50 rushing yards. Chicago came out with 361 total yards, 219 passing. That's really good, with 142 on the ground. So that's pretty balanced. I mean, it's only a 70-yard difference there, but I would definitely say that's a balanced game. Definitely showed that we had control of the game and that we weren't letting it slip away. Penalties, Cleveland had 6. The Bears had 4. There was the one false start there after a timeout, which was a little ridiculous. Those are things that Ben is going to be pissed about and want cleaned up. Total return yards, Cleveland had 87 to our 127. I did feel like we really didn't see any splashes as far as the return game went. Not as much as I would have liked to have seen. But we will get there as far as that goes. So, total plays, Cleveland had 56. We had 64. Yards per play, Cleveland had 3.4. We had 5.6. It says total turnovers, we had 3. And the Cleveland had didn't get any, but I do believe they had the one interception there against Tyson Bagent. Let me pull up the box score here. So Shedeur Sanders was 18 for 35 with 3 interceptions. Do it? Nope, it pulled up the wrong game. Sorry, folks. That's why it's so goofy. There we go. Now we're looking at the right one. Let's get to the game stats. Okay, here's today's game. I'm sorry. Let's scratch all that. Today, the Browns had the 34.05 for time of possession versus the Bears 25.95. So almost a balanced game there between the two teams. Cleveland had 13 first downs. Chicago had 22. That's a little more realistic. Cleveland had 314 total yards, 206 in the air, 108 on the ground. That's not bad for Cleveland. A lot of those big plays came towards the end of the fourth quarter, too. Really seemed like the Bears were just kind of in the let's just get out of here mode. But Chicago came out really well with 430 total yards. That's very impressive. 348 passing yards and 82 rushing. So we were really light on the ground. Roschon Johnson looked slow, like he was running in cement the entire game. I really don't want to see Roschon make it to the final roster. Let's get down to penalties here. Cleveland had 5. We had 2. So one of those was a false start. And then the other one was, I do believe, a defensive hold. So not bad on the penalties, but that false start is going to eat at Ben. Total return yards, 161 for Cleveland, 112 for Chicago. Like I said, I didn't see a whole lot of splash there on our special teams. Total plays, 64 versus 63. So both teams equal amount of plays. Yards per play, 4.9 for Cleveland, 6.8 for Chicago. That's really good. That means almost every time we're snapping the ball, we're getting 7 yards. So we're getting really close to first downs every time we snap the ball. That's really impressive. I like that. And then here we go. 3 total turnovers and 1 for Chicago. So I do apologize for my first run with that. I had the wrong stats. So let's start with Deshaun Watson here. He was 11 for 15 for 126 yards, no TDs, no interceptions, with a passer rating of 98.2. Do it for a guy who hasn't played for basically 10 years, it feels like. He had a very good game all around. As much as he gets hate, it was nice to see Deshaun Watson back out there playing, especially with the contract that he has with Cleveland. I'm sure they're hoping for big things from him and just basically make the quarterback room quiet, that Deshaun Watson will be the starter and Shedeur will probably be the backup. who was 6 for 11 with no touchdowns and 1 interception, and he only threw for 79 yards and 39.6 on the rating. Dylan Gabriel, 5 for 8, 62.5, 23 yards, one interception, no TDs, 27 rating. Honestly, Gabriel had, I think, a better overall game versus Sanders, but I'm sure the coaching staff is going to probably lean more on Sanders to be in that second spot. Rushing for the Browns, I have to say that Devon Booth really did take it to us. He had a 13.2 average on his 4 carries, but he just seemed like he had our number there. And Casey Concepcion, the rookie there, he had 1 rush, and that was his touchdown, and it was 14 yards. So, all in all, the rushing game had 2 people that actually did something. But yeah, it was a little disappointing that we couldn't stop the run as much as we could. Their receiving core, they had a couple good receivers that flashed. Luke Floria, he had 1 reception there for 35 yards. That was a nice catch on his part. Dylan Sampson had 2 receptions for 43 yards. Gage Lavardian had 4 receptions for 37 yards. So some decent aspects there. The Bears did give up a sack to Karande Stador. I'm sorry, I pronounced his last name wrong. And Julian Okwara. So we gave up a couple sacks there. Their kicker was 1 for 1, and nothing else really to mention there. So let's get up to what the Bears did. So Tyson Bagent, 13 for 22, threw for 169 yards, the 1 TD, the 1 interception, a 79 rating. Like I said, I wasn't completely blown away by Tyson Bagent today. I understand it's the first game, but it just seemed like he wasn't quite comfortable until later in that first half, in that first quarter there. Case Keenum, solid day, 9 for 10, threw for 151 yards, 2 TDs, no interceptions, 158 on the rating. Overall, great job, Case Keenum. You're definitely solidifying the fact that you will remain on this roster. We'll see what happens in the next preseason game. Miller Moss, the rookie, the first quarterback ever really drafted by Ben Johnson, went 3 for 8, 48 yards with a 58.3 rating. He definitely had the happy feet. You could tell the game was really fast for him. It's a lot of it's obvious when you're a rookie, things that pop out, and that definitely popped out. So as far as the rushers today, Roschon Johnson had 8 rushes for 34 yards with 4.2 average. Probably one of his better rushing games, but I'm still not a Roschon Johnson fan. I feel like we've wasted too much time on him, and I just don't know if we're going to – I'd be shocked if he stays on this roster. Salvon Ahmed, great game from him. He had 2 rushing attempts for 17 yards with an 8.5. He definitely showed the burst of speed that you need from a running back. Roschon's more of that short yardage. Like, I can get you a couple yards, but Ahmed really showed that he could take off and run. He would definitely be your 3rd string running back, I feel like, behind Swift, and then Manangai, and then it would be Ahmed. I feel that would be your backfield. Britton Brown, it was nice to see him back out there. He was 5 for 8 with a 1.6 average, not very quick today. Coleman Bennett, he was the one that rushed in for the touchdown. He was 4 for 10 with a 2.5. Receiving, Caden Davis, that guy blew me away. I was really impressed with him. He was 4 receptions for 88 yards, 22 average. He was a rocket out there. You definitely saw that the Chicago Bears had speed going on. Ray McLeod, hats off to him as well. He was a free agent signing that we just picked up. 3 receptions, 63 yards, 21 average. Great. He did a fantastic job out there. Hopefully he can stay and make the roster. Salvan Ahmed again shows up. This is why I was saying he had a great day. Not only did he have the rushing, but then he also polished it off with the receiving as well. So that's a nice utility back that could do the passing along with the rushing. And he had 3 for 55 yards with an 18.3 and 1 TD. Maurice Alexander, 3 for 42 with 14 yards and 1 TD. Britton Brown had the TD as well on the reception. So that's where the TDs basically came from. Scotty Miller looked pretty decent out there. He was 3 for 37. I'm a big fan of J.P. Richardson. I hope he makes the roster. 2 for 34. And then we just had some other odds and ends. The Rocket Ismail's son, Kadir, he had 1 reception today as well. And so did Roshan and Stephen Carlson. Sam Roush had a couple receptions as well today, our rookie tight end out of Sanford. So defense, Kamri Kroma. That was sorry, I messed up his name in the beginning of the show there. 2 sacks, solid. I felt like he had one of the best all-around defensive games today. But also so did Benny Bishop Jr., who got the 2 interceptions, almost on like back-to-back passes there, or back-to-back series. He did a tremendous job. But yeah, it was very impressed with the everything. And also, Kamri Kroma also had that fumble reception as well. So, or fumble recovery off of Deshaun Watson. Santos was 2 for 3. He missed that 150-yarder. I can pretty much forgive Santos on his kicking. Torrey Taylor averaged 47 yards per punt. That's actually not bad. I would have liked to see him pin back a little bit more on one of the kicks. I think he went to the 20. So if he would have put a little more under it, they could have pinned him back even more. But, oh, no, it really didn't matter. I mean, we did a tremendous job as a team. The Chicago Bears did great. I really came out of this game hoping that we would get the W. I know it's preseason, but I just would hate to lose the Cleveland Steamers. I've never been a huge advocate fan of the Cleveland. I always feel like they're the dumpster fire of the NFL, along with the Jets and probably the Raiders. There are 3 teams I just can't stand in the AFC. But no, so we have our next preseason game coming up. I believe it's on Saturday. Let me pull that up. I want to say that we are playing. I know we play the Titans. I don't think that's the next. We'll play the Bengals on Saturday, August 22nd at 5 p.m. So that will be the next one. And then we finish up against the Titans the following Saturday. So that'll be interesting to see. Then we start the season, Monday Night Football against the Eagles. What a great way to start the season. I mean, that's going to be a good test for this team coming right out of the gate against a very tough NFC opponent. But yes, we have 2 more AFC teams. Then we start the season. It'll be interesting to see what cutdown day looks like. Who makes it? I mean, the next game will probably start to tell us who's going to be lingering around this roster and who won't. But yeah, what are some of your thoughts out there as far as the game? Were there certain players that you felt shined better than other players that maybe didn't show up really hard on the stat sheet? But all in all, I mean, great first game. I still expect to see the starters to sit next week against Cleveland. I do hope they get reps because reps are important to at least get the dust off and to get ready, especially since our first game is going to be on Monday night. I'd really like to see Caleb and the rest of the starters playing maybe at least a quarter, if not 2 quarters, like at least a half. But at least get some snaps in, get into the rhythm, get into everything. I know that they did 60 plays during warmups, but still, that's not game ready. That's just basically practice and not getting really in the mindset of playing. But yeah, so let's just get ready for the next preseason game coming up. We'll talk to everybody hopefully around then. But this is Tim from the MC North Monsters. Bear down and let's fucking go.